Before we start, here's a quick guide from Lord Garbelius. Please drop down in the description, give him your support, jump on his Patreon, check him out. Really good stuff. Thank you, Lord Garbelius. What's up, everybody? Soul here with another sort of Convallaria video, and today we'll be taking a look at Layla. I'm going to give you a little guide on how I feel that you should play her to best benefit your experiences in sort of Convallaria. And yeah, I have to say right up to bat, I don't have her signature trinket, and I don't feel like I've quite cracked the code on her. But she's been a ton of fun to play, and I'm going to kind of share my findings and what I think about her so far. So let's just get right into it. First off, let's take a look at her trait. Open it up at 1 star. She gains block, and also can block magical attacks. That's really big. It's a really good thing on her. Performs preempt on enemies in front or side within 2 tiles of the character before they actively attack. At the end of the turn, if the character is within an enemy's threat range, she gains Iris Vanguard, lasting until the start of the next turn. And so she also gets a flat increase to her magic defense by 15%. Preempt can deal 40% physical damage and can be triggered 2 times per battle. So a couple things real quick. That Iris Vanguard buff, it increases your damage by 40%. When attacking, it ignores 20% of the target's HP. So when somebody's within that threat range, she's getting a nice little buff there for that. Now right away, from 1 star to 2 star, you get a huge increase from the amount of times that this can be triggered, up to 4 times per round with that preempt. That's really big, and so I think it's really important that you get her 2 star no matter what. Now going on down, you can see at 3 stars, it's within 3 tiles right there instead of 2 tiles. Right there, 3 tiles. And then at 4 stars, it jumps up to 25% magic defense, and then 6 times it can be triggered. This is a good stopping point on her. It's not required to go up to 5 stars. However, at 5 stars, she'll gain 1 energy at the start of the turn. And that's pretty powerful. You never want to turn down energy, so she definitely benefits from 5 star like anyone and everyone. However, 4 star is a perfect stopping point for her, in my opinion. 5 star is fantastic, but a slight luxury. Now, let's take a look at these ranks. Now, she has a lot of options. She's got a lot of versatility, and that's what makes her fun, which is also why I feel like I haven't quite cracked her. So here at rank 1 on the right, you've got Police Lasso. We've seen this before. It's on SB Roia and so on. So, yep, it's a debuff, instant, and it inflicts restraint, attack down 2, and no assist on the target. And then, of course, they already have it. It gives them that stun. I'm going to suggest you to get what's on the left right here, and that's Co-Defense. It's a passive, and for each ally within 2 tiles of the character, your defense increases by 10% up to 40%. Pretty stellar stuff, and that's what I think you should go for. Now, up here at rank 3, you've got 2 options. This is where you can spend a Castalia for sure. On the right, you have right here, Shelter from the Storm. This is a support ability. It grants damage reduction 4, physical defense 2, magical defense 2, and piercing damage reduction 3 to all allies within 3 tiles of the character for 2 turns. This is pretty big. If you're going to use her in Clash, PvP especially, I think you're going to get a lot of benefit out of this piercing damage reduction. Regardless, this is a really big, nice buff. However, it's not an instant, has a 3-turn cooldown, but it has good range and is very powerful as a buff. On the left is what I'm going to suggest you to get otherwise, and this has a lot of utility, and this is a support ability. It's an instant. It teleports other allies within 4 tiles of the character to the character's side. The character gains assisting cover, block enhancement 2, and comrades for 2 turns. And so we've seen assisting cover, we've seen block enhancement, pretty good stuff with that. Block enhancement 2, it decreases damage taken by 25%, additionally when blocking is triggered. However, comrades is new. Right? This is a buff. After performing a strike back alert or preempt, it inflicts no passive skill, attack down 2 on the target for 1 turn. So really, really good stuff there. I like that a lot. This is what I'm going to suggest you to get. Great instant ability, allows you to completely move your team and relocate them. Looking right here at rank 5, on the left and on the right, you've got 2 options obviously. On the right, you've got front defense as a reaction. When hit by an active attack from the front, the damage taken is decreased by 30%. This is pretty big. I like this a lot. She's going to try to turn and block, and she's going to want to mitigate that damage as best as possible, especially when she's assistant covering. So this is a really good, powerful ability. Of course, on the left, you got Quell the Tides. This is a reaction when attacked by a ranged attack from the front or side enemies. If the attacker's speed is lower than the character's, it dodges all their attacks. Can be triggered one time per round. When dodging, it deals 60% physical damage to one random target within a 3x4 area in the attacker's direction. That's one thing that makes this really nice. She's got the ability to do that strike back at range. So that range strike back is really nice and really good for her as a tank. This makes her a specialized unit in dealing with magical ranged units and her ability to strike them back and so on. However, this feels a little niche, and it feels also like it can be a little underwhelming. This can be good in certain particular situations. If she has that speed and it just outright negates all those attacks, phenomenal. But if you're not meeting that criteria, I think you're better off with front defense. If you're wanting her to run her as a tank and just generally cover and hit people back and get more general usage, I'm going to suggest you get front defense on that one. Now up here at rank 7, you've got on our left Night Crimson. This is her aura, and of course for all Night Crimson units, she gets an increased 10% attack, 20% defense, and then her damage is increased by 12%. It's pretty nice. This is definitely worth picking up with the Castalia if you have that luxury. However, I'd suggest you get what's on the right, and that's Cloud Slash. This is physical damage, deals 3 hits of 25% physical damage to all enemies within a 2-tile radius around the character, and inflicts vulnerable 2. After dealing damage, it lasts for 2 turns. After attacking, she gains Iris Vanguard and Slashed Clean for 1 turn. And so the attack method of the trait changes. This is Slash Clean. Forced alert triggers. Alert range is increased by 1 tile, and the number of alert triggers is additionally increased by 1, and cannot be interrupted if the number of triggers is used up. It reverts to the original trait attack method. This cannot be dispelled or immunized. Really, really nice ability there. I'd highly suggest you to pick this up. Of course, at rank 9, you have her basic attacks, and you got Dispelling Strike right here. It does 100% physical damage. It dispels 2 buffs on the target. There's not too many times I'm using a basic attack on her, but this is probably the better choice. I went with what was on the right here. I want to test it out and see it. I even threw on Ever-Burning Blade on her, and I really didn't get a whole lot out of it, so it's definitely something you can pass, but I can see some utility down the line with some more experimentation. So this is Sword Cane, single target attack, deals 75% physical damage. Before attacking, if the target has 3 or more debuffs, it pursues after the attack, dealing 35% physical damage 2 times. Like I said, it ended up not being as great as I wanted it to be, at least not yet. So further testing will lead us and see where it goes, but I would probably suggest you get Dispelling Strike here on the left. Up here at rank 11, you have Battlefield Traversal, and so this is a passive. It reduces damage taken by 15%, gives immunity to Scorch and skill interruption effects. At the end of the turn, it clears enemy traps and special tile effects within 2 tiles around the character. This can be pretty powerful in certain scenarios and situations, so this is definitely something to look at. Might be something you want to pick up, especially if you're looking to play in PvP and so on, and use her for Clash. Now, on the right is what I would suggest you to get, and it has more general usage, especially if you're wanting her to be an alert unit doing damage. And so this is Encounter Stance. Passive 40% of the character's magical defense is added to physical attack. HP is increased by 10% at the start of battle. So this has more general use and utility, so I'd suggest you get this on the right. Brutal Blow right here is physical damage, single target attack. It deals 130% damage. Before attacking, the character gains physical defense 2 and magical defense 2 for 2 turns. Pretty decent ability here. She comes with, I think it's something I haven't really used a lot, but it's still pretty decent and nice to have. So let's talk about how to build her. There's 2 options in my opinion, and for how you'd want to play her. And the first of which I'd consider is Alert, and that's where you honestly want her, standing in the middle of the enemy, your team even, and just killing anything that comes onto you. And so this is how I'd suggest setting it up. Any basic attack, either one of your base attacks is fine, whatever you have chosen. Your reaction, I would suggest using that front defense unless you're particularly going up against magical ranged units. Then, of course, you want to pick up Quell the Tides. Otherwise, I just go with that front defense. Absolutely must run Cloud Slash for that alert setup roll. And then go defense and encounter stance are the two other abilities I'd highly suggest. Now, as a counter attacking unit or a alert unit, I really enjoyed using Senator Swiftsword. I did test quite a few things. I did test Ever-Burning Blade, and of course you can't go wrong with Newborn Blade. This is a phenomenal choice as well. And then of course, if you have her trinket, her signature trinket, there's nothing wrong with running Guardian's Will, because you're going to get that bonus defense, and of course that's going to lead to your bonus attack and so on and so forth. However, I don't have that, and so this is what I ran, and I really enjoyed Senator Swiftsword, getting that HP, and then you're also inflicting that move down on anyone that comes through your alert range, and that more or less helps zone and control and stop them from getting to your team. I really enjoyed running that Senator Swiftsword there. Now, for your trinket, Hunter's Intuition is a phenomenal choice. Of course, if you have her signature trinket, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's pretty decent. I think it's better the higher star quality it is. I didn't want to roll for it, and I don't know that it's really powerful enough to warrant it. But I am eager to test it once I do get it down the line. For me, this Hunter Intuition is pretty solid in that we're doing extra damage when we're using her alert. I'm really happy with that. Of course, we have the extra ability to be triggering an alert when our enemies act within her range, not just move. However, the primary thing I'm really liking about this Hunter Intuition is the bonus damage. And then, of course, as an alert unit, you really want that Tower of Destruction, in my opinion, especially with that lifesteal, because she is going to take some damage. She is going to get knocked around. Getting that lifesteal on her is a big deal, and she really benefits from that extra 20% damage, and that lifesteal, it really keeps her going and gives her good sustain. And then, of course, for your Resonance and even your Terror Whisper stats that you want to target, for her, in my opinion, you want to target those defensive stats, maybe magic defense primarily, and then, of course, physical attack, because she's an alert unit. She's going to benefit stat-wise from those two stats primarily. Remember, when she's an alert unit, she's kind of like Momo. She's not going to be your tank in that instance. She's not going to be a tank and an alert unit. And if you try to do both, you might be able to pull it off, but I think you're going to find that she falls short on one or the other, and it ends up being lackluster. And so when she's an alert unit, treat her like an alert unit. Let her do damage. Let her be resistant to magical damage by investing in that magical defense, especially in your Resonance. That double pinnacle, you're able to go for 20% on all your defensive stats, including magic defense. And then let her attack scale off of that. That's my opinion on her as an alert unit. Now, as a defensive unit, I'd run her differently big time, and the way I'd run her in this instance is I would definitely take Shared Tribulation as her first ability. You keep that co-defense, in my opinion, and then you run that Shelter from the Storm as the other ability. Now, taking a look at her weapons, Newborn Blade goes in. I like the bonus HP. You get a little bit of attack out of that too, which is really nice. However, I really like that you're getting that bonus HP. Of course, in this instance, if you have her signature trinket, then it is a no-brainer. The Guardian's Will is her absolute best in slot with that signature trinket. However, if you don't have it, Newborn Blade will suffice and does a really good job. And of course, you got other options like Dueling Dagger and so on. Senator Swiftsword, still not a bad choice. However, it's not what I would primarily go with in this instance. And so yeah, Newborn Blade is probably best in slot as a defense without the signature trinket. Now for that trinket, since we don't have the signature trinket, Mystery Guardian is a phenomenal choice. Really like this a lot for her as a defensive unit. Of course, you have other things like Cooling Powder as a choice, but I would go with that Mystery Guardian above all else. And it gives her that bonus defense and really helps her when she's covering into that assisted block and so on and so forth. And then with the Terror Whisper, I'd go with the Silence of the Hermit for that reduction to damage received. She does tend to be, or feels at least, a little bit squishier than what other tanks are. I don't know that it's fair criticism, but it just felt that way. And so this really helps in that instance to help keep her safe and healthy. It also needs to be said that her as a defensive unit, covering with that assisted cover, you're going to only benefit from that primarily when you're running this shared tribulation. And so this 2 energy cost 3 turn cooldown, and it only lasts for 2 turns. So there's a turn where you're kind of in limbo and you're not getting anything out of it. And if that really bothers you, then switch your tarot up to the world, and that way you're able to knock that cooldown down on that just by simply, you know, passing on her turn, because her job's to tank anyways, right? So you're going to pass on her turn, and then the world's going to give you that cooldown reduction and extra energy, and you're going to be able to proc this again sooner. If you don't mind that extra turn where you can't do the assisted cover, that's where you got this Shelter of the Storm that comes in. Proc that up for that 1 turn, throw it up on everyone, and keep them sheltered safe. You have enough there to keep it in rotation and work around each other for the most part without any issue. And so that's how I'd run her as a tank and a defensive unit. Now, let's take a look at her in battle. I'm going to show you what she did for me as an alert unit. Here we go. We've all seen this battle before. I absolutely love it. I love testing on this battle amongst a few others. However, yeah, let's just look at what we can do right here. We're going to regroup everybody, and we're going to move Teed and everybody else in the back. Here comes our girl Layla, setting up her alert. Nice little decent bit of damage considering it's only supposed to be 25%. We get our buffs out. Here we go. Now we're running her on a team where we're debuffing our opponents and whittling them down to our damage through the lines for us. Really like this synergy in the team comp right here. Had a lot of fun with it. Do a video on it maybe. Big cow comes up, adds some extra debuffs to the situation. Really good stuff. Good, nice damage right there from Layla. Slaughters that guy for trying to even move and think. Nana comes in. She's a fantastic unit with Layla because she's able to boost that magic defense. We got our alert triggered right there. Skirt come rushing in. Got the Princess Guard move up. Getting some heals out from Koto. We're making sure that Layla has plenty of energy. We just teleport her up forward, and we reset up our alert. Decent damage there. Kurt goes running. He gets his hit off. We're not fussed about it. We hit him too. Some decent damage. So Fake Cow's alert. He comes walking in, we deny him. He comes walking in, we deny him. Stuff right there. And then of course Robbie is a beast. So it's a pleasure to use and play with. Now we're going to have to relocate and move everybody again. So we're going to get up there. Kurt did his little teleport, jumping up there. We're going to do ours to get up there to him. Here soon. We're going to get that Iron Pot Stew going first. Here we get some turns in. Now seems like a good time to start worrying about moving over. Big cows. Baller. Good damage right there. He just one-shots that guy. And Lion comes up and does some decent damage. We clear him out. We're taking his turns. Get some good. That's a co-defense right there from Inanna. boosting Layla up. Now's a good time to start worrying about getting up there. We set up our alert again. Pretty decent damage there. Lots of crits. I'm gonna knock him into the alert. Don't quite get him there, but hopefully he'll step into it. Good powerful stuff. And then we smack him and end it before we realize it. And so yeah, that's my guide on Layla. That's how I'd play her. I have to stress it again, I don't have her signature trinket. There's so much more going on with this unit that I really want to explore and check out. I haven't had the chance to really kind of fully check it out, crack her code, if you will, but I have enjoyed this so far, and it's 2 ways I can definitely suggest for you to play her. I think it's going to be a little bit before I'm able to figure out the rest, because I need more characters. Like, I think she has tremendous synergy with Sophia, and I think that her signature trinket will also open up a whole new level of play with her. And so I'm eager to test those things out, but that's not something I'm going to have anytime soon. I want to make sure I get this guide out to y'all. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's beneficial for you and it's giving you a good idea how to build her, what to enjoy in her, and how to utilize her to better your experience in sort of Convallaria, or even maybe to decide to pull on her. With that all said, thank you so much for watching. A huge shout out to my Patreon members. Thank you so much for enabling me to make this content and to be able to make the pulls on these characters to create these guides for everybody. And if you'd like to join us on Patreon, make sure you check out the link down below. There's also a link for our Discord if you'd like to join us there as we talk about various aspects of the game and so on and so forth. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Take it easy. I wish you the best in sort of Convallaria. Bye.